VGC is supported by Patreon. Check out patreon.com/videogameschronicle for more podcasts, ad-free browsing, and extra content. Thank you for your support. You're like a gang that fought and died for VGC the Video Game Podcast, episode 176, with me, Jordan Midler, Chris Scullion and Andy Robinson. This week, I cried 40 times, but first, how's it going, folks? Chris Scullion, how you doing?
Doing well. Yeah, it's been a reasonable week. It's just one of those weeks that kind of comes.
It's just
and goes,
one of those days.
It's just one of those. But I always thought we'll get into. If we can get into this now, if you want. But
yeah, let's get into Limp Bizkit. This is most of the podcast.
The lyrics to break stuff. I always thought when he's saying "next one to complain leaves with a blood stain," I thought he was saying "next one to complain leaves with a butt stain."
Like he shot himself.
Yeah, which still works. But,
yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, isn't that album literally called Chocolate Starfish? Yeah. Chocolate Starfish.
Oh,
yeah. Limp Bizkit's still kicking a ball. I noticed it was Download Festival last weekend.
Did you see him?
Chris
Did you see Fred Durst?
Of course, Chris String was
He's a
there.
big metalhead.
His fancy jacket. Check it out on Patreon if you want to see it. Fred Durst, does he look like Santa these days?
He's got a big
white
massive
beard?
white curly beard and curly hair. It's crazy.
What's Wes Borland up to these days? Is he still dressing like a
never
freak?
tell. He's still got that big weird face.
Yeah.
And then he puts a mask on.
Yeah, there you go. Limp Bizkit called out on this podcast.
Shots fired.
Yeah. Download Festival, I went to a couple of years ago when they did the first download after COVID. They did like a pilot program to be like, okay, let's see how many people will die once we do this version of Download. And it was quite fun, but the thing for me was that the smell of pish even on the first day was unbelievable. Surely technology has advanced to a point where we can have more reasonable toiletry things going on at festivals. Andy Robinson, you're a man that spent plenty of time in a field. Best and worst festival experiences? As he takes a sip of his... Is that 7-Up this morning? Starting things with 7-Up?
I'm dual wielding.
Nice.
Like, hot and cold.
Oh.
A bit hot, a little bit of cold.
Hot 7-Up, cold coffee.
Do you know in Canada they call that double fisting?
I call that double fisting.
But that's a dodgy terminology to be used.
Of course, you can't use grenades, so always thinking tactically.
Smart.
Best. Anywhere. I used to go to a lot of the dance ones, like Creamfields, Global Gathering, I think was the other one. Prodigy were always good.
Yeah.
Prodigy were always good. Definitely the worst one was V Festival, right, which attracts a certain clientele from Essex. I think it was the Killers, and I got a warm cup of something lobbed right on my back during that. I don't think it was a warm beer.
Yeah, you have to tell yourself as your whole night will be ruined. Like that thing is just so classy to me. At Download we saw, I think it was Enter Shikari that headlined. It was actually Scotland were in the Euros. It was 2021. So the first night didn't watch any of the bands, just watched Scotland in the Euros and get pished. It was the night Scotland played England in that incredibly boring game where we won nothing each. But the rest of the festival was fine. The best part though, me being a road trip nerd, was driving from Glasgow down to Donington and getting to go into all the fancy service stations they've got in England. The T-Bay services, best of gear. It's unbelievable. It's like the Waitrose of services. It's like the Hollywood of services. You can't believe it.
I remember the weirdest, most memorable festival. I went to the Ben and Jerry's festival.
I thought you were going to say the Benny Hill Festival. It was people running back and forth.
There's a festival.
You only played one song.
When I used to live in London, they did the Ben and Jerry's Festival in Clapham Common. It was generally a more family affair, but it was like fun-loving criminals and Ash in Ocean Colour Scene and all that were doing it. And it was like a daytime festival, so after it finished, we went to Bodine's, a well-established meat restaurant, and there we found out that Amy Winehouse had died. It was the same day that Amy Winehouse died, so then that was an eventful day.
When you said Ben and Jerry's Festival, I was thinking Is this an ice
Tom
cream
and Jerry.
festival? Not Tom and Jerry. Oh yeah, it's a wee cat and a mouse running about. Hard to see on the stage.
It was the same Ben and Jerry. They had booths just giving out free ice cream the entire time.
So this is what I was thinking. It was like a convention for Ben and Jerry's. It's
it was a music festival.
I get TikToks for like the annual McDonald's manager convention, which looks class because it's the big convention center in Las Vegas, and they open a McDonald's store in there that serves the best of every regional variation of McDonald's stuff. So you see these boys in their suits, they probably make about $900K a year, going up and going, I got the black pepper chicken nuggets from Japan. They tasted the taste of the Orient. You know, like, all right, lad, what we're playing that here? It's the same pacified chickeniness.
Can I just? I know we've gone on like 400 tangents this morning.
Mate, there's no news this week. Talk about whatever you want.
There's a few
off topic.
The McDonald's new menu for the World Cup, right, includes the Sweet Carolina barbecue stack, obviously paying tribute to America as a host of the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
The Mexican Chipotle chicken, obviously paying host to Mexico as the co-host of the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. What's your Canada burger?
Sure, I would have thought they would do like a really shit version of poutine. Surely that's what you do as the Canada tribute.
Well, considering Canada won 6-0 last night, and they picked the wrong host to be.
Yeah, they won 6-0 Now a boy get his leg absolutely shattered to bits.
6-0, a broken leg, 2 red cards. It was everything.
It was one of those jobs. It was the dangly wangly.
It wasn't quite Henrik Larsson, but it was a bad one.
It wasn't quite Edouard. See, to be fair to the boy, you saw the video of it, and the look in his face when he looked at his leg, and he was like, "That doesn't look right."
It's weird.
It's crazy.
You wonder how that felt, because like there's there's some breaks that like. But there's some breaks that like cut nerves and you can't feel it. Like when I cut my finger like wide open when I gardening accident, I couldn't feel it. I couldn't feel a single thing because it severed the nerve.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there going, well, this is really annoying. And blood was pissing out my fingers. Like, oh.
Other footballers have said when it's happened to them, like the adrenaline from playing the game plus like the shock of seeing it, your brain just doesn't have the time to compute it, and that's why they give you that laughing gas straight away to try and like keep the. So you never actually feel the intense pain of having your leg jellied. But
because when he gets stretchered off, he was sitting just waving at the fans, and I'm like, mate.
Well, it didn't break his arm. He can still wave.
Don't laugh, you've broken your neck.
But who did they put 6 past? It was some slug
Qatar.
nation on it. Yeah. How have they?
Qatar.
Right. I don't. Yeah. Right. In fact, I don't actually care. They shouldn't. Teams like that, countries like that, shouldn't be at the World Cup when Italy and Poland aren't at the World Cup. I'm sorry, they just shouldn't be.
But then you occasionally get a Cape Verde drawing on each with Spain, and those are the most kind of interesting results.
I suppose you get to see people really struggle to spell Curacao on social media, which is enjoyable. But anyways,
did you not direct the Seven Samurai?
I love the Curacao mode in Ghost of Yoti. Anyway,
Akira Curacao.
Scotland are up tonight, God help us. Patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle to support this somewhat website about somewhat video games. We've actually got a giveaway for you this week on the podcast. If you'd like a copy of Poppy Playtime Chapter 5, which is a new Scary Mary game, just email podcast@videogameschronicle.com with your first gaming scare that you can remember. What was the first thing in games that you can remember scaring you? Include your platform and region, and I will send out the codes to the first people that email. Chris, first scary memory in games for you? Probably some, hover bother, the music really scared me, I was up all night.
How dare you? There's a game called The Immortal on the Mega Drive where you were like a wee kind of wizard type guy going around an isometric maze. And it just had loads of these really annoying, like instant deaths without telling you. It was going around a dungeon. And at one point, you just stand on a bit of floor and this big giant worm just appears out of the ground. It goes, and swallows you whole. And I shat myself.
Screaming.
I was expecting it. Literally, it was such a mess. But that was mine.
Andy, a scary memory for you?
It's either that mask in Super Mario Bros. 2, the scary mask.
Oh, where you take the key?
So that thing. Or more likely, the drowning countdown in Sonic.
Yeah, terrifying. I can see that. There was something
pretty traumatic.
It really is.
7-year-old.
Especially because the drowning animation's horrible. It's not really an animation, but when he kind of goes up like that, it just bubbles come out his mouth. They just
It was got an unnecessarily detailed drowning animation. Super Mario 64.
Oh, yeah, but he's and he turns upside down and just just fade to black before that bit.
Oh, they spent the entire development cycle working on that. I had a pure mare at Summer Game Fest, and I can't remember what game it is, but there was like a loud noise, and you're obviously playing with loud headphones, and something. It wasn't like a scary moment. Someone just like popped out or something, and I fully went, ugh, and I was like looking around to see if anyone noticed, and I was like, that is the worst thing for me. I hate jump scares, and that wasn't even a jump scare. Scary things, fine, but I don't go to the cinema to have people like go quiet, loud. Like, does nothing for me.
What was your scariest gaming moment then, Jordan? Was it realising that all the best games were made before you were born?
It was realising that I'd have to listen to absolute tripe about all this stuff that was made in the 1740s for the rest of my career. I don't know, like scary games, scary gaming moments. Like the Tomb Raider used to really scare me, and I don't know why. I think it was just like fear of the unknown. Like in my head, it was just like a incredibly scary game. But yeah, the water stuff still. I don't have like what's that called, like thalassophobia, where you're scared of deep water or anything like that. You can't play Subnautica where like shit in your pants. Yeah. But it's stuff like that I don't typically love, but nowadays I just don't like jump scares. That really does my wick in. Like
there's a single jump scare in Romeo's a Dead Man, and it's clear that Suda put it in just for a laugh. Like you're just walking around a mental hospital, and at one point just like a big face just appears on the screen, goes blah, and you're like ah! and then the rest of the game you're waiting for it again, and it never happens again. That absolute frick. It's just for no reason.
Romeo's a Dead Man's a cool game. I want to get back to that, but I feel like that feels like one of those games that I'd need to play from scratch again, because it introduces so much shite like constantly to you, and you're like, okay, big man, okay, number one Celtic fan, Suda. Speaking of the cinema, I've got bad news for the front lines. So someone I know went to see the new Jackass film, the premiere of it.
Not good.
It's 50% at the minimum is old stuff that we'll have all seen.
The thing is, I've not watched the old ones for a while. So I'm kind of down for that.
I watch them all every year. Like
so I haven't for a while, so I'm kind of down with that.
Yeah,
the best stuff.
I look forward to seeing the new stuff. I look forward to seeing the stuff that they filmed for 4 with BAM that they can now put in 5. But I'll go and see it. It's the cinematic experience I enjoy more than anything, is watching Jackass and laughing my head off. But yeah, it's time to hang it up. If you would like to hang it up with VGC, you can do so. VGC Live, More, Glasgow, October 16th. You can win this. Chris, give me a QVC beat.
A QVC beat?
Yeah, please. This is a signed copy of Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection for the PlayStation 5. It's signed by the entire development team at Naughty Dog, including Neil Druckmann, the man who Nathan Drake's actually based off of. That's a fun bit of trivia that is also not true. If you'd like to win that, you can come to VGC Live October 16th in Glasgow's historic More.
QVC doesn't have a beat. It's just normal. No, it's just normal.
But no, I don't spend a lot of my time watching it these days. Yeah.
What? Make me compose music for them on the fly.
Yeah, well, I suppose.
Speaking of which, God rest Bobby Prince, the composer of Doom. See, when you've played the original Doom and you got the that was him, and he died this week at the age of 81.
Oh, yeah, 81.
It's good innings in a proper Ultimate Warrior moment.
It's going to be sad soon.
Yeah, like, it really is. It's going to be an absolute massacre.
You know, like we had that Christmas where it felt like a dozen celebrities all died.
Oh, Bowie and Prince and all that.
With
different Prince.
Carrie Fisher, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was like someone pointed out like it was exactly or something, like it was like the theory was that it was 70 years from when television or radio or something went mainstream. So the first celebrities were getting to that age for the first time. And we're going to have that moment in games, very, very soon.
Yeah. It's crazy. But Bobby Prince had his Ultimate Warrior moment. So people who know the wrestling know the Ultimate Warrior finally made his peace with WWE and had a big speech, and then literally the next day died.
Yeah.
So just last month, the Library of Congress added the Doom music to their kind of registry to make it like lifetime preservation, and then 1 month later, that's him away. So at least he got to see.
Are you saying Are you saying it's connected?
I'm saying Trump did it.
Follow the money.
No, but no, he was a legend. He co-composed Duke Nukem as well. 2 of the best FPS soundtracks of all time. So yeah,
81. I saw a funny TikTok recently that was like reacting to how you would react based on the age someone died, and it was like obviously from like 1 to 25. It was like, oh my god, and then as you got to like 80, it was like good innings. And then it got past 100, and the guy's face was just like, and then the last one was 125, and he just looked scared. That's pretty good. Well, that's the last light-hearted moment of this podcast. Story number 1. Oh, bloody hell, Xbox. Multiple Xbox studios are in negotiations to go independent in an attempt to avoid closure, sources say. That's according to Bloomberg, which first reported the news and corroborated by VGC's own sources, who indicated that Compulsion Games, Double Fine, and Ninja Theory are among those in active negotiations to spin off from Xbox. The Xbox studios are said to be at risk of being shuttered, but have the opportunity to buy themselves back from Microsoft and go independent, though employees are likely to lose their jobs as a result, according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. Quote, employees at several studios have been informed of the situation and given permission to seek out new work, but were told that the status of the studios is still in flux. Cambridge, England-based Ninja Theory made Hellblade, and they just announced a new game, Senua, last week at Xbox Game Showcase. Compulsion, who made South of Midnight, and Double Fine, who made Kiln, and a bunch of other amazing games, have released games in the last year. All 3 studios are known for creating award-winning original games, but not necessarily commercial hits. A bit of context here. The potential studio closures or sales comes as part of the expected widespread cuts at Microsoft's gaming division, which were foreshadowed this week in comments from CEO Satya Nadella and Xbox boss Asher Sharma, who warned that the Xbox business needed to be more profitable in the future. Andy, your thoughts on what has been a rough week in news?
It's a bit of a shit show, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what like. I don't know what they're doing. Like, there's so many contradictions, right? The only way I can get my head around it is that it is true, the suggestion that all of this was kind of like a distraction, a bluff, that Asher Sharma's been, grabbing the low-hanging fruit and, changing the logo and, updating the dashboard with various bits and bobs that the hardcore fans want, and those exclusive games, that was all just bravado for the true plan, which is, that as a platform, they must be winding down. It's because those studio closures are quite damning for what they must think of, Game Pass's prospects. As a going concern in its current form. It's as you say, how do you announce a game and then a week later you're winding the studio down? And you're seeing a lot of this last minute stuff. The PS5 logos cropping up in all the Gears of War stuff. The Halo trailer that was captured on PS5 Pro that was supposed to be in a state of play allegedly.
Yeah,
It's completely shameful, right? And this is indicative of these companies, these corporations that are not allowed to have any long-term plan. I mean, they can talk a lot about how they've lost money, et cetera, but it still doesn't change the fact that these studios, the ones that are allegedly being, and I've heard the same, by the way, that those studios are being spoken to, those 3, and there's others as well that are yet to come out. But you get those particular studios in to make content for Game Pass, right? To make critically acclaimed, award-winning games. You don't get them in to make smash hits and sell millions of copies necessarily, right? That's not what Double Fine is. It's not what Ninja Theory is. It's not what Compulsion is. They were brought in for a particular reason several years ago, and now they flip-flopped their strategy again, and suddenly they don't fit. And I think I talked about this on the podcast before, but Matt Piscatella, when he gave me his little brainstorm when we were talking about Xbox last year about, you know, the direction it could happen. And he said, basically, there's two plays. There's either, you know, Game Pass plays out and Game Pass doesn't. And if it doesn't, then they're gonna double down on the big stuff, right? And all the small stuff gets cut. And that is kind of what we're seeing, seemingly right now. But you just got to hope that some of these guys are able to buy themselves out, you know, able to find other partners. Because I think it is it's absolutely, you know, it's a cold, hard slap of shame that this has happened, that they've allowed this to happen.
I'll just come to you in a second, Chris. I'm just adding a bit of context here. Concerns first arose last week that Xbox was planning another round of layoffs after Sharma stated during a Bloomberg tech conference that she planned on, quote, resetting the business because it was not in a healthy spot. Shortly after that, Bloomberg reported that Microsoft was planning significant cuts to the gaming division, reportedly planned to take place shortly after the end of the fiscal year on June 30. At the same time, Sharma sent a surprisingly candid note to staff in which she shared, quote, realities that we need to navigate, claiming that Xbox's annual revenue had declined nearly $500 million in 5 years, with hardware costs up 4 times and the studio system, quote, overextended. Chris, your thoughts on this whole situation?
You know, when you're a teacher and there's like a bully in the school, and
I was struck off, but yes.
and you think it's going to be my job to kind of turn this kid's fortunes around, and you're saying to the kid, look, I know there's good in you, like I stick up for you in the staff room, all the other teachers say you're a waste, but I've got kind of hope for you, and you keep talking to the kid and say you can do this, you can turn your life around, and the kid starts turning up on time to school and starts behaving, and you go, here we go, finally it's happening, and you come in the next day and they've shat on the desk. and it's basically that, because like Asha Sharma was saying the right stuff, like she was, and a fair a lot of it was low hanging fruit, but cutting Game Pass price was a big move and the right thing to do. The quality of life stuff that the console's been getting has been genuinely good stuff that people have been wanting for a long time. So in that sense, you were starting to think, oh, okay, well, she gets it. We're getting there. But then for all this to happen, it's just like it's instantly been undone, and now it's like you're going to have to. And
it was their best showcase in years.
It was brilliant. And after that, I was like, this could finally be the turning point. But I didn't realize there was another turning point.
And like, by the way, like as an aside, like they had us drinking champagne in like a 6-figure venue, you know, in Los Angeles. You know, after the showcase, they had a big lavish fan fest, merchandise given away. You know, they had a big party at their venue, this big venue that they built, with all the leaders, and it was good vibes. You know, great showcase. And then this happens. I mean, not even this happens a week later. I think it was maybe like the day we came back from LA. That note had gone out from Sharma about hard truths that need to be had, and we need to reset the business. And the timing is. I mean, I understand that their fiscal year goes to the end of this month, I believe. So if you go back and you have a look, basically, Microsoft are always laying off people at this time of year. You know, the 9,000 cuts were last summer. The Bethesda, Activision, Cole was like the year before, I think. So this is kind of like a natural rhythm that they've set into. But still, the timing, Christ's sake. And from what I'm hearing, like honestly, like again, you don't want to. I always, question yourself about how much you should kind of like say that's not 100% confirmed, but certainly like the vibes are bad, right? Like people that I've heard from about this are saying it's really, really bad. Like I don't think we're going to recognize this Xbox Game Studios in a month.
To me, this feels like they are in last roll of the dice territory, where the move now is we make the absolute biggest games we can. We make Halo, we make Gears of War, we make Fallout, we make The Elder Scrolls. Now, it made sense when Phil bought all of those smaller studios to fill out Game Pass, when Game Pass was entirely the move. That's all they were going to do. That's like the thing they had that would differentiate them from Sony's platform. But now they're they seem to just be in a situation where they think it's not worth us spending X amount of hundreds of millions on a couple of games that will probably get good metas, but will not get new Game Pass subs, will not sell, when we could be making a big game that we can sell everywhere, which I also think makes the exclusive stuff they announced ridiculous. And
it doesn't make any sense, right?
There's no part of me that thinks
Game Pass was always the North
PS5.
Star for them, right?
Yeah.
This stuff mattered because they'll have the subs go up, right? It's adding value there. So
Game
seemingly
Pass,
that's not the case anymore.
Game Pass can still be the thing if they reposition it, because we've been saying this for years. Anyone who goes,
Funny, what are they going to put on it now?
But this is what I'm going to say. When you listen back on our podcast for years now, we've been saying Game Pass is a great thing. The marketing is abysmal for it. They still haven't got across to people what this is. But that aside, if you look at this from a purely cold-hearted, evil business point of view, does it make more financial sense to keep a company like a Double Fine or a Compulsion or something like that and continually pay their wages and everything while they make these Game Pass games, which are, with the greatest respect to Kiln, aren't really making much of a big explosion every time these games come out? Does it make more financial sense to keep payroll in these companies, or does it make more financial sense to find a company like that who's an independent and just chuck one big thing of money at them and say, put us on Game Pass, put your game on Game Pass day one? People can buy it on PlayStation, or you can get it on Game Pass on Xbox, and then they're not having to payroll that company. It's a one lump sum. There you go. Or you pay whatever the structure is, where based on engagement figures they get a recurring payment. That is more financially sound idea than buying the entire studio and running that studio. And it's a shit way of coming to that conclusion now, because it involves people losing their jobs, and it involves studio closures or studios having to suddenly become independent and go, well, how are we going to find extra funding to stay afloat? If they had figured this out years ago, instead of buying up studios, doing more exclusivity deals with independent studios, we might be in a better situation now. There is scope to turn it around, but the mountain they have to climb now is ridiculous.
I don't know if this is just pessimism, but to me, like the closure or the selling off of all of these studios that aren't at their top tier feels like them positioning themselves for their life when they are. And I said this on the Q&A this week, which is on Patreon. Like, I think they would quite like to be the biggest publisher in the world everywhere. They just make the big things, and this is kind of what they're positioning themselves as. I think they would love to take all of their first party stuff off Game Pass and start getting 70 quid for those games again. I think that would make a huge difference. Game Pass was this like glorious idea when they had money to burn, but now that the Eye of Sauron is like on Xbox now, I think they have to make very cold decisions, which will burn a lot of goodwill, which is exactly why they got why they paid to fly out a lot of social media zealots to go to their parties and get wined and dined, because it means they get guerrilla defending on social media that they don't have to pay for. But I think even parts of that contingent are starting to realize that there's no positive way to shut down one studio, but if you're doing this massive culling that seems to be coming, I think it's going to be a real dark couple of weeks. And even at the end of that, do they have the games big enough for this to even matter? Like,
they're tying themselves in knots, though. Even with the fan base, right? They're tying themselves in knots. They're saying one thing and doing another. They've spent a lot of that the last couple of months talking about, return of Xbox and as a platform, right? And the exclusives and the console, and then they're doing stuff that indicates that that's not the case. That's not the direction of travel. They contradict themselves. A lot of things. You like, do you want to be the biggest publisher in games, or do you want to be a platform? Because those things are not necessarily, they don't necessarily kind of fly together.
I might make myself look. This might not play out. I might make myself look silly here, but I personally do not believe the exclusive stuff whatsoever. I think eventually Gears of War E-Day comes to PlayStation 5, as does Clockwork Revolution.
I believe it, but like we spoke about this kind of off podcast before. I believe those games will remain exclusive, but purely because they know they can't make money on PlayStation with those games. They released Gears of War Ultimate on PS5 last year, I believe, and I would imagine they're kind of private data on that suggests that barely sold on PlayStation because nobody on PlayStation gives a shit about Gears of War. So coming out and declaring, oh, by the way, Gears of War E-Day is going to be exclusive to Xbox. Sorry.
Oh, he's back. Welcome back.
I'll keep quiet for a while.
Please do. This is important. The big grandiose declaration that, by the way, Gears of War E-Day is going to be exclusive to Xbox. PlayStation won't get it. Is purely because people on PlayStation are like, I don't give a shit. I don't want it anyway. That's why they didn't come out and say, by the way, Forza Horizon 6 is now exclusive. Yeah. If you want that, you have to buy an Xbox.
By the way, Elder Scrolls 6 is now exclusive. It was like, no, you're never doing those ones.
They'll shift on PlayStation. Gears of War and Clockwork Revolution are easy wins because they can declare them as exclusives, knowing full well that they weren't going to sell that well on PlayStation anyway. So I think they'll stick to it. I think Gears of War will remain an exclusive because
I understand
going back on that and releasing it on PlayStation to sell 500,000 copies isn't worth the remaining goodwill that they can keep.
Well, I think it's a slightly different prospect when it's a new Gears of War game versus a remake of a game from like 20 years ago. But
by the way, it's even more frustrating, like this conversation, when you remind me of some of these games that I got to see Gears of War for an hour behind closed doors, and it looks amazing. Like it's visually probably the best looking game I've ever seen. Like the art direction is absolutely stunning.
It'll look great on
Spyro,
PS5 Pro.
Amazing. Halo looks amazing. They had such a great lineup of games. And the conversations turned away from that so swiftly.
It's always the case. Like I think that you can watch our reaction podcast from the Xbox show. Like the headline message was, the games look brilliant. What is going on with this messaging? And this was before all this stuff was coming to light about the studio closures and stuff. So they're in a really weird spot.
And the other thing is, they're not the only company that's doing this. It's just the way they go about it, and the way that they're currently just scrambling to get goodwill, and they're on just this amazing losing streak just now of everything they do just seems to go wrong. You look at Sony in recent years; they shut down Japan Studio, London Studio, Firewalk, Bluepoint. They shut down Jason Blundell's Dark Outlaw games. Yeah. Bungie's looking dodgy, but the landscape is the way it is just now. The focus isn't on that. When Bluepoint gets shut down, everyone
goes,
the
what you're doing, just named, other than Bluepoint, is how much value is lost there, right? A lot of sort of like, it's like the guys who made Concord. It's the new studios who've clearly struggled to get something off the ground. I don't think people are as angry about, like, say for example, the Initiative and Perfect Dark, right, as they are about the what's it called, the Bethesda studio, Arcane. Yeah. Like people like that who you're literally, that's like cultural vandalism, right? You're going to close Ninja Theory and Double Fine. That is cultural vandalism.
I do get what Chris is saying though. Like I think Sony gets away with a lot because they just shut up. They never say anything. They never do all these. They don't have Herman Hulst like taking photos with influencers and like, oh, we're your mate. We're all an Xbox family. PlayStation are just like, no, we're a business. We're going to put out our games.
We're here to make money. Yeah.
We'll talk to you every 6 months on a pre-recorded video where we're all floating in space
every week, right? And they make that happen. Yeah, they constantly put themselves in the news.
It's crazy. Like the Nintendo and PlayStation approach of just be quiet. And Dringo was on this podcast like a year ago being like, okay, Xbox really need to stop talking, and nothing has changed. It's only gotten worse and they still need to stop talking. Like it's such an unbelievable death spiral when we should be talking about, oh, look at all these class games that are coming this year, which I think they will end up having great. They already had a great game this year with Forza. Like that new Halo looks interesting. Gears looks cool, but it's just a poisonous atmosphere around the brand.
Basically, when you try to add a personality to your company, people take it personally when you do things wrong. So when Sony started acquiring, doing its live service focus, and they're going, we're focused on live service games now. Nobody was like, it's not. They didn't come out and say, we know you guys love live service and we're your pals, so we're going to make you all the live service games. It was just cold business. Live service is making money. We're a business. We're going to where the money is. We're going to live service. So when all the live service stuff started shutting down, people said, "Oh, Sony, you made an arse of that, but it was a wrong business decision." When Microsoft are doing this, they've been giving it all this, we're your pals, we love the influencers, blah, 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 blah. So when stuff like this happens, they take it personally. They take it as if you were supposed to be our friends. It's like, make it clear these are cold business decisions you're making, instead of, "Oh, sorry guys, arm around the shoulder, we'll keep doing our best for you."
I don't mean to harp on this stuff, but Sony did the "we're your pals, we're all a PlayStation family" stuff at one point, and it was the peak of the PS4 generation. It was the PlayStation experience when they had that fan festival and they announced Last of Us 2, and they were properly like, "We are so back, we could not be more successful." And then they've just completely put the wall up. Like we know who Hiroki Totoki is because we cover this like to death, but the Xbox fan knows far too many people at Xbox that should not be public figures, that should not be like showing up and having this cult of personality around them. I think it's a mistake that they've kind of continued from the Phil and Sarah era, which I wish they hadn't. Like, Phil was really, really good at that stuff. He was authentically obsessed with games. You can look at his Xbox profile. He was always constantly playing games. But when you continue that into an era of someone who, Asha Sharma, obviously very, very, very accomplished, someone who, if not completely new, very, very new to games. So it's a totally different prospect now. I think
I do feel for her to an extent, because she's come in and inherited an absolute shit show. It's not like she stepped in and went, "We're all right, everyone. We're letting everyone go." This has been happening for years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is just the next stage in it. So I still think if anyone can turn this around, you need someone in who doesn't have that kind of, who doesn't come from a gaming background and can look at it with that cold business kind of light and go, "Our profit margins are like 3% just now. We need to turn that around, and we need to do it this way, and it's going to hurt." And then hopefully in 5 years' time, we'll look back at this and go, so if it's going to turn it around, I still think she's the right decision to do it. It's just whether that can even happen at this point. I don't know.
It will be brutal. Like,
I mean,
it's going to get worse.
The issue is that she's saying one thing and doing another, right? That's I think is the issue here. I think if we hadn't had all the bravado before this about platform and all the rest of it, if they were just like, "Look, this is we're gonna have," if they imagine this was day one, right? You were like, "Well, it's not worked out. They need to, they've overextended. Consoles, clearly not worked out for them. Game Pass has not got to where they expected it to be by this point. They now need to double down on making a lean operation that works, right?" You'd be going, fair play. It's the fact that this has happened after months of the talking, after the showcase. They've set these rakes up to step on themselves, right? It's the fact that we're talking about this after they've announced Senua a week ago and the exclusive games, and the fan fest where they've given everyone a free Xbox and we've all cheered and yay and all the rest of it. It's just yet again terrible optics for them.
Yeah.
Well, we'll leave it there, because I'm sure there's going to be more in the coming weeks, and we won't do 40 minutes on it next week unless it's really, well, I say that, and it could be worse than we possibly imagined. And we're going to go for a break, and when we come back, GTA 6, yes, they're making a sixth one, EA, and most importantly, Bosh. We'll see you in a minute. And we are back. Chris, go up to the presses and stop them right now, okay? Go up to the big machine.
Hold on, just to...
Okay.
Can you contact the presses, please, Mr. Flower, and let them know to stop the presses?
Right.
No, not yet. Just fucking do it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We can't get the staff these days, but GTA 6 can get the staff, the ones that still work there, because pre-orders will open next week. Surely that means the game's coming out in November. That is a boring story. However, people in the Discord wanted to know, Andy Robinson, we've made allusions to how GTA 6 is make or break for some portions of the games media, and I think they wanted to hear a little bit inside baseball about how that works, because some of them seem to not really get how GTA sustains a website beyond like the opening week and the reviews and stuff like that. So any insight to that, I think the Discord would be keen to hear.
I mean, obviously this is I guess a link from what's going on at Xbox, that there'll obviously be bigger corporations or big corporations, not like sites like us, that want growth from their games outlets, and they will, otherwise they're going to make cuts and make them leaner, and etc., right? So I imagine there's a lot of sites like that are going to be under pressure for GTA to be big. I imagine they would have budgeted against it, because a big game like that, I mean, it's cyclical, right? I mean, especially back in the day when there was more of us, the games media loves a bit of navel gazing. And one of the debates that used to come around on old school Twitter was, I don't work in the games industry. I cover the games industry. I work in the media. And there was always this debate about, do you work in the games industry or do you work in the media? I was always in the school that we work in the media. We're beholden to media law. We're journalists. However, since starting VGC, I've got to, and actually running a business side, you really do see how cyclical it is and how intertwined everything it is. And really, we kind of do work in both, because big games like GTA is like, it's going to be the biggest entertainment, property ever, most likely. But even something like, a good example is like a Resident Evil, for us to have a good month, and again, I should emphasize on this, like, we want to cover games that we want to bring, compelling coverage to our audience, right? We want to, cover interesting stories, original stories and stuff like that. But obviously a side of it is that we also need to keep the lights on. And part of that is bringing in, some big hitting stories, right, that are going to do well, and they inevitably will be tied to the games that have got the biggest audiences. If there's a big game comes out, it brings people onto the website, it brings advertising money into the market as well, and vice versa. Like, it was difficult in the post-pandemic years when we had, fewer games coming out, which means there are fewer people reading about games, which means there's fewer advertisers, booking advertising on sites like VGC and Eurogamer and IGN, etc. So I think a lot of those big sites have probably bet the farm somewhat on GTA. It's going to bring in this amount of people and this amount of, advertising money. Because it's not just like, traditionally you'd look at like guides and stuff like that. Like there'll be a lot of stuff for us to write about that people will be searching
100
for
pigeons, where are they?
Exactly. Stuff like that. So that's sticky, right? We're like a news site. And that's news is traditionally is not sticky. We put up a story, and after a couple of days, it's basically dead. I mean, even if you do a big exclusive, right? Just off the top of my head, Rare cancelling Everwild, like we broke that last year. After a day, traffic's basically gone from that, because everyone else covers that story and they read it there and then it's done, right? Whereas a guide like Where to Find the Pigeons in GTA, as you say, will go on for a long time, whoever's able to like kind of sit on that term. But it also just generally brings a lot of interest into games. A lot of people will be interested about GTA and how it's doing and stories around GTA and maybe other games as well. But a lot of people will buy consoles for GTA or come into the ecosystem. So GTA is super important, not just for the games industry, but the games media as well.
I cannot wait to play that game, man. I am so curious to see. I just want to see it running. I want to hold a controller and see what they've done. Like,
it's also trying to find the angle as well, because obviously as a news site, this is why I never understand the people who get angry about review scores, saying, "Oh, you're deliberately scoring that high or low because you want all the traffic." It's like, realistically, like, reviews are even more. Even less.
If Asher Sharma took over VGC, the first thing she'd do is cancel all our reviews.
Because like our Cyberpunk review is long gone, but the stories about Cyberpunk having a botched launch went far longer and did far better for us. So it's like it's a weird situation, because you don't want to see like a GTA do badly when it comes out or something wrong to happen. So we would hope that the stories we could find from it are kind of interesting ones. Oh, look, here's a interesting reference to something.
But the kernel of that is you're finding original stories to tell around this launch, right? You don't, as journalists, that's kind of our job, is to tell original stories. Reviews, everyone's got an opinion, right? And everyone's got a review, and they all go up at the same time, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's less like finding an angle, and certainly like less about finding the negative, kind of spin. It's more about finding what original story can we tell around this?
That's more. I'm more meant finding the angle that no one else has found, rather than not necessarily the negative. Because like you say, we can do a review. We do the review more out of necessity, then, because it'd be weird not to have one.
And
but
it's 400
fun. Other sites are going to. It's fun as well, but 400 other sites are going to have a review up. So you're competing with them all, and it's like when we cover a showcase or something, it'd be weird not to cover these big showcases, but the stories that do more traffic for us it's inevitably stuff we discover after the showcase, where it turns out one game isn't multi-format or something like that.
Yeah,
that's the stuff.
I can remember that back 20 years ago. Like the small print on the website that's gone live after the E3 announcement, stuff like that, but. That is that, and this is proper inside baseball. I know that not every site's the same. I've spoken to people at IGN, for example, who, for them, they're so big that they can just, do kind of the general news cycle, and it will do quite well for them, as I was told, because obviously there's a large audience of people who use IGN and rely on IGN for their news, right?
Yeah.
They'll go to them and they'll read the general announcement, game story or whatever on IGN. Whereas for smaller sites like us, especially starting out, you've got to bring something original to the table or you're dead. You're surrounded by all these big planets who are sucking in everyone with their gravitational pull, and we've got to create our own. I remember when I launched, before I launched VGC, we obviously had a business plan. We need to get to X amount. And we built it all on like the number of stories. Like, if we can get, 15 stories up a day for X, time, it will result in this amount of traffic. Like, in fact, we originally were going to launch it just with me, and we got a news editor in as well. Like, we made the budget work, and it really stretched us. It's like, we're going to run out of money in X point, but we were like, 2 people, double the stories equals double the traffic, right? And we found out very quickly that was complete nonsense. Like that, it's not. You don't put more stuff up and you get more traffic, because it's about bringing original reporting to people that really, kind of does the job. A lot of this other stuff you're talking about is stuff that we want to do. Like I want to review Star Fox. I want to go and interview, Ueda or something like that. I mean, okay, interviews will do well, so I probably shouldn't put it in this list, but you know what I mean. Like, I want to review this game. I feel like we should cover, the big news, but it's not paying the bills necessarily.
Yeah.
You know what does pay the bills?
And also, again, like we're hammering this home. This is why, like, someone asked me last night. I was at MCV Awards last night, and they asked me about how we're doing. And the positive thing I always come to is Patreon. Like, that's the direction of travel. That's the future for us. I'd really love to be in a spot in a couple of years where we can be, totally reader funded. It's if we didn't have the Patreon and all of our backers, it would definitely be a lot more depressing around here.
Thank you very much, Patreon backers. If you're not a Patreon backer, you can go to patreon.com/videogameschronicle. Over there you can get bonus podcasts. Every week we do an extra Q&A podcast in the middle of the week. You can also get our video series, including Acceptable in the 90s. Myself and Chris Scullion watched Games Master and Bad Influence earlier this week. Chris, what old amok? No, not as bad as a 90-minute Ubisoft press conference, which we've also watched on the Patreon. Lots of that stuff to go and check out. The Patreon is wonderful. I don't take it for granted whatsoever, especially because there's lots of other people in this space trying to do it, and they aren't able to do it for whatever reason, or there's just not enough money from the audience to go around. So to have such a healthy group of people, despite the arguments you lot have in the Discord, I don't know if you two saw this yesterday, but they were genuinely arguing for about 3 hours, rectangle versus square, what is actually the cover art of GTA 6. So we've cultivated an interesting bunch, but I love them all dearly.
They don't realise that because that cover art is in squares anyway, they can just move those squares to whatever configuration they want. Job done.
It was screen filling. It was screen filling for ages.
See, as long as there's a helicopter on the top left, like there always has been in every game, I don't care.
There wasn't one in Chinatown Walls. Fake
that
gamer.
Doesn't count. That's not the main series. That was a spin-off. Listen,
spin off that, mate.
Listen, do you know that?
Here we go.
I'm not sure I can tell us the story. Edit this story out if I can't tell it. But during E3, when Chinatown Wars was announced on stage, apparently there were some Nintendo people in the crowd going, "What?" They didn't actually know.
Oh, really?
There were some from different regions of Nintendo weren't even aware that was going to be announced. That Chinatown Wars was coming to DS.
Interesting.
But I don't know how if that's too inside baseball.
Could be
that's
true. Could be a lie.
Inside rounders. But either way.
Get that on Gaming Leaks and Rumors. That's staying in. I don't care. Second last story. I'm cutting this EA advertising pish because truly who cares? Bring back the Obama posters. Final Fantasy VII Revelation director says he's finished it 40 times and cried every time at one point. In an interview with Brazilian...
Imagine you're in the office, you're like, what's that noise? Yamaguchi-san's playing that scene again.
I like the picture that there's a problem with an animation in that scene, so he keeps having to go back in and render it again every time. It was just that for months. In an interview with Brazilian publication Omelette, publication name of the year for me, Omelette, Money Omelette. Noaki Hamaguchi, Video Games Omelette, was discussing Final Fantasy VII Revelation when he revealed that he's already played through the game 40 times and a single scene made him emotional every single
proper
time.
In between their stuff, innit? Finished it, mate.
I've completed it 40 times, mate.
Finished it 40 times,
Don't worry about it.
Street Fighter 8, finished it, mate.
Yeah, they actually sent me a prototype. I cried every time. Quote, there's this scene that's quite essential to the story of Final Fantasy VII where Cloud goes through a moment of introspection and discovers his identity and how it fits with Zack and Aerith, he explained. I think the way we portrayed that in Revelation turned out very well, and we're eager for fans to see it. I finished Revelation about 40 times, and every time that introspective scene with Cloud made me cry. God bless him. 40 times. I'm hearing is that the other shoe to drop here is actually an incredibly short game. It's only like 4 hours long. That's how he's completed it 40 times.
I've heard the scene is Cloud turning to the camera and saying, like, declaring to the Square Enix staff that they're getting let go. That's how they find it. That's why he's crying. Because
Cloud comes down from on high and goes, "This isn't a trilogy. This is Final Fantasy VII Remake 3 of 6. Get back to work. We've got another on it." I can't wait to play that game. Good stuff. And finally, Bosh! A pop-up Valorant-themed pub run by UK YouTuber Big John has opened in London. From June 19th to 21st, the Phoenix Arms will be open to celebrate the finals of Masters London, where the world's best Valorant players will compete at the Copper Box Arena. Chris, have you got our tickets? I can't seem to find them. Surely we're going to be there.
I didn't get tickets for it. The Copper Boxes.
I got barrier for it. I can't wait. Outside the arena, at the Hackney Bridge complex, Riot Games will be running the Masters London Fan Fest, where members of the Valorant community will be able to meet up, attend live Q&As with special guests, and take part in community challenges. It's here where attendees will find the Phoenix Arms, a classic British pub where players can have a drink. The Phoenix Arms will be decorated with team flags and Valorant-themed memorabilia, as well as a custom pub signage. It will also have live match screenings. I bet the ultras at the Valorant Masters are absolutely crazy. Pint glass in the back of the heat as soon as a referee decision goes wrong. Similar to football screenings in actual pubs where fans can watch their favourite team. Here's the rub. The pub will also be attended by John Fisher, better known as Big John, a UK internet personality known for his food reviews on YouTube and his catchphrase, "Bosh!"
One of the rare times I wrote all caps in a story.
That actually, as soon as I saw that, I was like, that looks wrong. We don't do that for Lego. We don't do that for Xbox.
I do it for Bosch.
Bosh! VGC Bosh! Big John initially went viral in 2022 for his large orders of Chinese food. You're burying the hatchet there, Chris.
I don't listen. Full disclosure, I don't know this guy. Like,
you don't know him?
No, I know Rate My Takeaway. I know Pengus Munch, and I know the deep dive. I know Sofa King Drunk, who's a Scottish guy with like 200 followers, and for the past 15 years, he's just drank entire bottles of beer. They're a massive burp. Said 7.5% on the Richter scale, and then just that's his full review. I'm not massively familiar with Big John, so I apologize.
I was like, I'm reading that story, like I was like amazed how remarkable remarkably straight you played the story. That's not fair play. But actually, you just don't know who he is.
No, I would have played it straight anyway for laughs, because I think like a straight coverage and stuff like this would be funny anyway. But I genuinely, I don't know what his selling point. I know Bosch is the catchphrase, and I know they stands up.
If anyone from Riot
Chinese
Games or
people.
their PR companies listening, by the way, I want to go and drink a pint with Big John at his East London pub, which is probably that's about 30 minutes from me.
Chris,
I wonder how long he's going to be there, because they're saying he's the landlord, but there's no way he's there all 3 days.
he's got Chinese food to eat. Like
what's his big selling point? Because I know he stood up for the Chinese
Right.
at one point. He said anti-racism.
Stand up for the Chinese. Stand up.
He does massive Chinese orders,
Such as sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style, sweet and sour pork Hong Kong style, shredded chili beef, beef and black bean sauce, salt and chili king prawn, kung pao prawn, salt and chili chicken, barbecue spare ribs, chips, prawns, crackers, curry sauce, and don't forget the mini spring rolls. Bosh! He'll do that. He'll phone up his local Chinese, order enough food for about 200 people, and the boss man on the other end of the phone will go, yeah, mate, 10 minutes, no problem. Because they know.
He must live close to me. He must do, because his Chinese his go-to is in Romford, which is like 10, 15 minutes from me.
Get him on the pod, Bosh. I think this is class. He seems like a great guy.
He does seem like remarkably wholesome, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just the Chinese restaurant where the guys, like, he stuck up for that Chinese restaurant, right? That someone like some horrible bastards, kind of defaced.
Yeah.
So you see him and stuff, like he's become like good mates with like some like Middle Eastern prince as well. Like you see him like he's out in
Prince
Abu Dhabi and stuff like that.
Is this part of the first kind of step in Big John becoming a director of the Savvy Games Group?
Savvy Bosch Group, mate.
Dipping his toes into video games for the first time and work his way in there.
Bosch of Vitals 14 coming soon. Get Cristiano Ronaldo out of that. First of all, he's washed. Shite footballer. I don't know if you saw that Portugal game.
Washed.
Hilarious hate watch. Get Big John in there instead. That would make it a proper game for me. Love a story like that. You don't get enough of those these days. These kind of Friday night and finally stories. The Queen getting a golden Wii. That's the peak of those stories for me. Surely,
tell you what, you don't need Ronaldo anymore, because this amazing FIFA World Cup game that's now on Netflix.
Go on then.
You can find a review of on VGC, 1-star review. Everyone just does the Ronaldo celebration when they score. Everyone does it. Like, just regardless, like Shankland, who oddly is pronounced, I think there's AI commentary in that game.
Oh, really?
Because it's Clive Tilsley does the commentary, but when you pass to Shankland, it goes Shankland. It's like Disneyland, and it's like that he must know.
Clay Ive Tilsley.
Yeah. Oh,
there you go. Nearly got there.
Ive but it's awful. It's awful.
It looks
you can find footage on VGC YouTube as well.
It looks absolutely rank rotten. Like, obviously the World Cup fever has taken me. It's like consumption. It's going to take me to an early watery grave. But the FC 26 stuff this year is really funny, because obviously they're doing a lot of World Cup stuff, but they don't have the license. So they refer to it as the summer tournament and like everything they have. So it's like, if a player scores a goal in the summer tournament, they will get a +1 in Ultimate Team. And the fake World Cup they've got for like the offline mode is great stuff. I got an advert for that terrible Netflix game, and it was like two people sitting on a couch going, "Do you fancy a game of FIFA?" They don't make FIFA anymore, do they? Yeah, they do.
No. They certainly don't.
No, they do not.
Because, unfortunately, yes, they do.
It's like, okay, let's turn on Netflix. Netflix? I thought you wanted to play FIFA, not watch the telly. And it's like, fuck, get out my face.
And 10 minutes out, this is shit.
Chris Scullion, you betrayed me.
Ronaldo.
Who is Norwich Shankland?
Also, this studio has been brought in to make a football game entirely from scratch
in 20 minutes.
Hunt it out in 6 months. It's like, you can't delay this. It's got to be ready by day one. It's shocking.
They're running about. They're like, boss, we've not got offsides. Every team's only got 9 players. Can we just? It's like, no, you need to get it out. You need to do it now.
It doesn't have difficulty levels. There's no difficulty levels in it. Like, you start beating teams 4-0 and you're like, well, this is it then.
Yeah.
This is it. You can take shots from like 40 yards out and they go in almost every time. And I'm like, well, this is it then. It's done.
I didn't watch the footage because I've got better things to bore me. But what was the teams you used? Because obviously we have a VGC tradition when we put up footage of football games where it's Celtic 50, Rangers nil.
I did Scotland and Spain because...
Oh, you coward!
No, but listen, this was literally my third match of the entire time playing it. So I played a couple of matches and thought, I'm going to capture this. Captured it. So it was literally my third match playing it, and I beat Spain 4-2 with Scotland. And at that point, when you're beating Spain with Scotland convincingly, at that point you're like, well, I've beat the game. Like you can't really go in unless I'm going as Akira Curacao and taking on Brazil, then
Brasilia,
no challenge left in
have
that
a bit
game.
of respect.
Well, sorry.
Brazil, Joga Benito.
I apologise to Omelette in the other Brazilian publications.
Shout out Omelette, shout out Brazil for the best fruit I've ever had in my life, genuinely.
The Omelette's Japanese coverage is called omurice, famously.
Come on, we're on it this week. I don't know what it is, but we are really on it this week. Before we go, Andy, you put up some crazy taxi muck. How much of that did you get to see? Top level thoughts, send people to the website?
There's a whole bunch of stuff on the website this week from Summer Game Fest. Don't ask me to remember half of it. So there's a crazy taxi preview on there, chat with the director. He just talked a little bit about kind of like very broadly about why they want to bring it back and that sort of thing. There's an interview with Hamaguchi, the Final Fantasy director, on the site as well. That's quite an interesting conversation. He talks about quite frank, like, admission that he's like doesn't really pay attention to much to the fan feedback.
Good man.
Like, he thinks it creates like stale game, bland game experiences. If you kind of like his argument is that most of the feedback are like the extreme reactions on two different sides, and you end up making like a compromised game. So there's an amazing quote in there because obviously everyone complained about the amount of mini games in Rebirth, right? There's an amazing quote in there where he says, there will be the same amount, if not more, mini games in the next game because I want them in there.
Don't back down, double down.
I cannot wait for Crazy Taxi. That was it got to the point. See, when that was in the Dreamcast, when Crazy Taxi in the Dreamcast, I got so good at that game and obsessed with it that I could make the arcade mode last for about an hour and 20 minutes. But just continually, like, I knew exactly which customers to pick up, exactly what order to do them in to keep the timer going, and you could get like a Class B license, C, A license, S license, then a crazy license, an awesome license, then a crazy license, and I could regularly get a crazy license, which is just basically rinsing it. I can't wait.
You're lying, aren't you?
Not 100%.
Bullshit.
Love it.
Absolute bullshit. Lying rotter.
Yeah.
Now that
to stream it at some point. Then.
Now that we didn't do it, I'm going to burn this feature idea. And this would have been a bad idea to do with the first interview for the Crazy Taxi Revival. But I said to Andy, we should have done it where we only asked him questions that he can respond no, or yeah. Fantastic gimmick that would have been a total waste of a good opportunity. So someone else do that. Some social media wonk can do that. But we asked him the real questions, such as, where's the tiles?
Is BD Joe in it?
Is BTS in it? My man Jimin. That's going to do it for this week's episode of VGC, the Video Game Podcast. Remember, patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. If you've got an empty weekend and you want to fill it with our muck, you can do so over there. There's a whole archive of stuff and new stuff being added every single week. Next week, you will get a random video. I'm pretty sure it is going to be France themed, unfortunately, but we're all counting down for Chris Scullion's premiere of his Japan vlog, which hopefully coming in July, August.
Yeah, some of the people on Discord have been threatening they're going to turn any footage of me drinking into an emoji, because apparently there's one of you drinking and one of Andy drinking and one of even Chris drinking, but not
he's
one
on
of
the
me.
Chris drink famously.
So I'm already giving second thought to putting my energy drink reviews in it. So
well, to be fair, people that don't know you won't know this, but when you drink out of a can, you poke your tongue into the hole and suck it out that way, so it makes it a bit more awkward.
It's like Alien. My tongue,
like
I pull my tongue so far through it comes out the bottom like Alien. like I punch the bottom of the can.
And you wonder why she never texts you back. Anyway, patreon.com/Video Games Chronicle. Thank you very much for listening. Until next time, say goodbye, Andy.
Goodbye.
Say goodbye, Chris.
Goodbye, Chris.
Come on, Scotland, and we'll see you next week.